So I spent pretty much all day yesterday doing two things. Packing up my suitcases to drive across the country to visit my mom in Georgia, and when I wasn't packing, reading through Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel. Now I haven't read every single word of every single adventure, but I've read through each one enough to have a pretty good sense of how much they grabbed my attention and piqued my curiosity. I was originally gonna make this a top 5 video, but I have to hit the road here in just a few minutes, so I only had time to do my top 2 for this video. These two, though, immediately jumped out at me as being perfect for my table. There are, of course, other adventures in here that are also intriguing, but I'm gonna need a little bit more time to read through them and consider if they're a good fit for me and my groups. Now, this is a video for game masters though, so it will contain spoilers for the adventures. If you want to play in one of these adventures, might I suggest you watch one of our 300 or so other videos, like making a mini with my buddy Benji on Hero Forge, which you can see up in the eye in the corner of your screen up there. That was a fun video. Or our preview of the upcoming Dark Archive book for Pathfinder, which included one of my first acting scenes I've done for the channel. It's also a lot of fun. That video is in the corner right now. And before we jump in here, just a reminder that Humblewood Tales from Hit Point Press is on Kickstarter right now from our sponsor. The original Humblewood campaign is one that I've run to great effect. It has all the qualities I look for in an adventure: meaningful player choices, an evocative setting, a consistent tone, and really exciting encounters. The new Humblewood Tales book expands the lore behind the central tree city of Alderheart and brings us at least 5 more adventures. You'll encounter pirate mercenaries, face off against a slime king, search for creatures of legend in the woods, investigate rumors of a young Gerbine who seems to have developed magical powers, and take on the amaranthine Kren in a nightmarish dreamscape, and more. Humblewood Tales is available as a book box set or a Kickstarter exclusive collector's edition. Check it out at the link in the corner of your screen up there or in the doohickey down below. Before it's too late, that is Humblewood Tales by Hit Point Press. Okay, the first adventure on my to-play list shouldn't be a surprise to anyone who knows me or has watched my channel here for any period of time. Salted Legacy by Serena Marie features so many things that I love, but it can be summed up as gnomes versus kobolds in a bustling food market. This first level adventure, unlike just about any of the other adventures in this book, can be picked up and dropped into almost any urban setting without it feeling out of place. And I think it would be a fun way to kick off a lot of campaigns. You could run this in Baldur's Gate, Waterdeep, Neverwinter, Sharn, Absalom, Greyhawk, any decently sized cosmopolitan town. Basically, this is the story of a little diverse community of merchant families going through a problematic time in the Den Sing night market. The primary rivalry here is between the Tianmo family of gnomes and the Zungun family of kobolds, whose families have been squabbling seemingly for generations, though the current heads of the family have been trying to put aside their differences recently. But things have been going wrong in their stalls lately. Things are going missing. There's minor bits of vandalism. Something is afoot. The PCs step in just as things reach a crescendo, and ultimately, the PCs are tasked with figuring out who's to blame for the trouble. But to get anyone in this little community to talk to them, they first have to build a reputation for themselves, make themselves part of the community. And one way they can do that is by partaking in a few of the little market games that take place each night. There's a hot chili eating contest, an Iron Chef kinda cooking challenge, and a timed caterpillar hide-and-seek game. Many games like these can be a little bit hit or miss, but these are really cute and they're well designed, and they use the standard combat and skill check rules. So it can be a fun way to let the players get their feet wet with their new characters and break the ice as they can all play the challenges together. And during these contests, the PCs will get to know the other folks in this little market community, and they'll begin to suss out what's really going on with the kobolds and the gnomes. It is all just utterly charming and fun and engaging, and I really think I'm going to use this little adventure to kick off my next D&D campaign. And the other adventure that I'm just so excited to run is Shadow of the Sun. It's an Iranian-inspired adventure for 11th level characters by Justice Arman, who is a senior game designer for D&D. You've heard his name here before at the Gallant Goblin from his contributions to the adventures included in the Beetle and Grimm's boxes in recent years. Shadow of the Sun takes place in the city of Akarin Sangar, which is ruled over by an angel named Atash. The story begins with a group called the Ashen Heirs disrupting a festival with a protest against the ruling angel and his guards, the Bright Guards. Right off the bat, it is not obvious whose side the player should take, but the protest wakes and irritates an underground purple worm that emerges and starts to just wreak havoc. The adventure here provides a way for smart characters and or players to suss out what riled up the purple worm and find a way to stop the attack without combat, namely by destroying some megaphone-like devices that the Ashen Heirs were using that bothered the purple worm. So there's options. The party is hired by the Bright Guards to investigate the Ashen Heirs, particularly an assault they carried out recently on a merchant caravan. Now, some savvy players or characters will start to see that the Bright Guards are a little bit overzealous in the way they tamp down on the populace in the name of peace and stability. In particular, they arrest a woman named Afsoon, who seemed to do nothing wrong. So there are some growing suspicions here, hopefully. Eventually, the party discovers that the Ashen Heirs were after a samovar, which is like a decorated tea urn when they attack that caravan. The Ashen Heirs do get their hands on it right as the PCs discover them, and suddenly you have a spell-slinging magic carpet chase through the busy city streets, which, come on, is exactly what most of us want from like a Persian-inspired adventure like this. And the chase rules are really well done, with more interesting choices, risk mitigation, and some fun complications. Eventually, the party will be approached by another faction, the Silent Roar. They are also looking to overthrow the ruling angel and return the city to the control of the people, but they're trying to do so in a non-violent way. And the woman who was inexplicably arrested earlier was their leader. Both sides want to see the downfall of the violent Ashen Heirs, and the PCs will have to deal with them, but again, they can do so in a number of ways, and if they're savvy, they can again avoid combat altogether. But after the Ashen Heirs are dealt with, the PCs have to make a choice. The Silent Roar asks the PCs to rescue their captured leader, and the Bright Guards ask them to stop the revolutionaries from releasing a dangerous agitator. They can play both sides for a while, but eventually they will have to choose a side. But it all culminates in a fantastic battle involving flying mounts. Pegasi if the PCs side with the Bright Guards, and Manticores if they side with the Silent Roar. The Shadow of the Sun has everything I'm looking for in an adventure. It's high stakes, there's tough player choices with no obvious right answers, great moments like that carpet chase, multiple ways to solve problems, and combat encounters that are interesting and dynamic. If you've been following Justice for any period of time, none of this should come as a surprise, but he did a phenomenal job with this adventure, and I'll be running it at my table as soon as I can. So those are my top 2 adventures from the Radiant Citadel that I've at least discovered so far, and of course everyone looked for something different in their stories that they want to tell, so your top 2 may be totally different from mine. When you get your hands on the book, I'd love to hear which ones draw your eyes, and when you get a chance to play them, let me know how they go. We can use this video, the comment section down below, to compare notes and to build our Gallant Goblin list of enjoyed adventures. So if you're coming across this video in the future, after July 2022, when this book was released, go check out those comments for some more suggestions. And don't forget to check out Humblewood Tales on Kickstarter right now. If you find your tastes align with mine, you can be pretty confident that Humblewood will delight you as much as it did me. The link is in the corner of the screen up there, or the doohickey down below. Now it's time for me to hop into the car and drive off to Georgia. I'm going to be listening to some Glass Cannon, Delta Green, and Rise of the Rune Lords games, some Stormlight Archive, and who knows what else. It's a long drive. If you have any favorite podcasts or audiobooks, leave me some suggestions down there too. You can always chat with us on Discord or find us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. For now, drive safe, have fun, love each other, and we'll see you next time at the Gallant Goblin.